So today we're going to talk about Snowy Mountain's Promise by Alissa Callen. So I read this book for free from Apple Books. Don't know if you know that. There's always a top paid list and a top free list. So if I really want just a really easy read, I just go on there and get an ebook. Normally they're generally the first in the series. This one's actually number 3. They're all standalone. I don't know what the series is called. I think it's Snowy Mountain something. But this one is set in Australia in the Snowy Mountain, so rural New South Wales. And it's a somewhat second chance romance between Hetty and Tate on Tate's family farm and kind of the surrounding nearby town. So there's somewhat of a mystery subplot because Hetty comes to the town, and that's kind of why she's actually visiting. So she's got a reason, but that's not really the whole truth. And then because of that, there's some discussions of grief, mental health, and family relationships, kind of surrounding grief as well. That are connected to both of the main characters. So both Hetty, she lost her older sister when she was a child. Then Tate has lost both of his parents, and so it's kind of about dealing with them while also coming together, and also figuring out the mystery. So it is a dual POV, which I think is really good, especially considering both of their backgrounds. It was really nice to be able to go into both of their heads. And I felt like it made them more, you understood them a little bit more. And then, the actual star of the show is Bundy. He's the town's kelpie and resident matchmaker. So he's known throughout the series for going to one part of the couple, and then that is the matchmaker. So who are Hetty and Tate? So Hetty and Tate are the classic best friend and brother trope. It's not older brother this time because Tate is twins with Hetty's best friend, who she met from boarding school. So they met from boarding school. They've known each other, I think, about 14 years. So they're both around 30, the age of 30 now. And they've kind of liked each other the whole time, but obviously didn't really know each other growing up. And then there's just some reason at some point in time, there's always a reason why they couldn't get together. So one point it was Tate had just lost his mum, and then Hetty was kind of trying to figure out where she wanted to be, or one of them was in a relationship, something like that. You know how it goes. But they've liked each other the whole time. So, in reality, I think just with everything they've gone through, they probably did need to grow a little, live a little life, just to kind of be with themselves in a way, which is good because you also get some background. So there's some flashbacks to scenes I talked about and things that have happened. So you kind of get to understand the whole journey, which is nice. Tate at the start is still quite obviously affected by the death of his parents, particularly his father, who he thinks committed suicide. Don't really know. I think the dad died of a broken heart. I think they weren't that close together, but obviously afterwards, the dad was quite depressed and everything. I'm not a doctor, don't need to diagnose anyone. But I really enjoyed it because you could obviously see his, knowing his POV meant that we were able to actually understand his emotions and thought process a little bit more, because I feel like in similar books where it's only one point of view, then it's really hard to understand what that other person is going through. So I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I kind of say, so a bit about like Tate's mental state is that he's like makes these sculptures, right, but he calls all of them Waldo. And so he's kind of just like distanced himself from everyone and doesn't want to make any attachments in life because he's kind of scared of losing everyone. So he's kind of at a place where he's so unattached from his life that he can't make any attachments. And then Bundy comes along. He also has a friend, Rowan, who I think is the main guy in the second book. And so, yeah, you can kind of see that, like, a lot of the people around him have recognised that, hey, like, his mental health probably isn't great. And so they've, like, been doing things. Like, at one point his sister, like, buys this horse that she just hopes that will help him come back a little bit, in a way. And, like, even Hetty and the sister, I forgot her name. I couldn't be bothered looking it up. Hetty and the sister, like, have a full conversation about, like, Tate's mental health. So it is kind of, it's a little bit of a big thing, I think, especially at the start. But it's really nice to, like, kind of, like, have him, like, open up throughout the book. But yeah, so I think the romance part of this book was really good. It did kind of get slightly put on the back burner towards the end, as that kind of happens with a lot of cross-genre books. But I still really like them. I like them as a couple. They did a lot for each other, and they'd grown up together, so they understood each other. They knew where they were at and where they could meet each other. So I think that was really nice. Hetty's families, well, her mum and dad are kind of odd. I don't really understand the whole, like, wanting to be, like, a sibling to become another sibling after they've passed, but then also, like, not realising it. I don't know. That part was a bit weird, just to me. But, like, it wasn't really necessary as well. Like, she didn't really need any more external stress, if that makes sense. Like, she kind of had enough. She didn't really need to have these moments. But that's probably my main negative. Oh, actually, no. The main thing. So the mystery is essentially Hetty's older great uncle. She found out used to live in the town that Tate lives in, and she didn't know this, so she'd obviously just met his sister at boarding school, and then, like, that's how they became friends. She didn't really know that her great uncle was essentially ran out of town by one of the richer families. And so this was back in, like, the 70s, 60s probably. Oh no, even longer, because they're, like, 70 now. So yeah, it'd be back in, like, the 60s, where, obviously things like race, wealth, like, would play a part as well, and also being a country town in Australia, probably religion as well. And so, yeah, so what happened was her uncle was in a relationship with a girl, and the girl fell pregnant. And I kind of wish that was all of the mystery, because it kind of would have been enough to drive them apart. I don't think it needed to be expanded upon that much more. Like, even, like, their reconnecting was almost cute enough for it to be. So, but instead what happened is that there's essentially a psychopath in this town. This guy, Nathan, should probably look up his name. Yeah, this other guy from the town, he essentially didn't want Elliot and Elliot to be with the girl, and so like broke them apart by setting fire to a barn on a property that caused like 2 people to get severe burns and 1 person died, I think. And then blamed it on Elliot and like paid for a witness. And then drove someone off, like drove someone off a road and he died. And so it's like 4 or 5 people like died because 2 people were in a relationship. And then he didn't even end up getting with her. He got with her sister, who they were then raising the child as like their own. But yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it just didn't need to be that deep, right? This is like my chill, like sweet book, like Hetty and Taylor cute. You have them like holding a ball in like holding this ball in the in this new renovated property, like historical property, taking photos for her photo book, stuff like that. And then you just have this like essentially a psychopath who then in like the current time like kills another person by doing the same thing. Like he drove him off the road and like tried to set fire to Tate's house. I was like, what? Why? Why? I think one thing was cool. The flying part was fun. So she's a pilot. She has a flying license. I did get a little worried when it was escalating that they were going to escalate it so far that she would have a crash. But thankfully that didn't happen. Yeah. So anything else? Oh yes, I just looked it up. So Bundy's named after the town of Bundilla. Obviously made up name, but very cute. And here's my favourite parts. Yeah. Probably won't continue on the series, and I'm not too interested in reading the other ones. I feel like they're pretty standalone. Like you met the other couples, but I don't know, they didn't really like stand out to me. But we'll see. If they're free, I might. But yeah, I think the next one is the sister, but she's like, I don't know, it's like the classic, like she runs like a trail company. So they like, people come and stay with them and they go on trails, and like it's this company, and obviously the company's doing it to scout out the area to buy them. And it just feels very tropey. Whereas this one didn't feel as tropey. But yeah, I think I really liked this one. I liked it was short and sweet, very much giving a little, I was going to say rom-com, but it's not really rom-com. It's kind of romantic thriller. But yeah. Yeah, so that's Snowy Mountains Promise. I don't really know what the promise is, actually. It's Hetty to find, anyway, it's Hetty to, like, find out why. Oh, so the uncle's dying of cancer. That's why she's here. Should probably mention that one. Which I think also wasn't necessary. I don't know, I feel like that's my main gripe, is some of the stakes are a bit too high. But then the romance was cute, and they were cute. So, yeah. But yeah, give me a romance that doesn't have really high stakes in the background for no real reason. Anyway, that's all.